If you don't understand the laws that govern reality, you'll spend a large part of your life, maybe all of it, reacting instead of creating. My name is Mark, aka Create Lifestyle, and I help people break out of the matrix so that they can experience freedom, abundance, and peace of mind while leaving a powerful legacy. Most people think life is random. It's not. You're living inside of a system. I call it the matrix, but it runs on these universal laws whether you know them or not. I'm going to touch on all of them real briefly and explain them, but when you understand them and begin to work them all together, you can begin to create your reality. This runs on science. It's not just something that's just made up. This is actual science. It's called quantum physics that can actually explain all this in a scientific way. Quantum physics is the study of energy, vibration, particles. If you take atoms and break them all the way down to their protons, neutrons, their electrons, their tiniest particles, and if you zoom all the way in, you'll see that they're more space than they are particles. And inside of this space is energy. So that's what quantum physics is, and it explains these universal laws. But these universal laws, they come from ancient science from thousands of years ago. That's where all this comes from, is ancient wisdom. And today in our society, or in modern society, which could go back 1,000 years, we basically have been controlled by the dominant society. We've been controlled and trained since before we were born. And we step into a system that has trained us to go to school, to go to work, to get a job, and just work your whole life. Pay bills, pay taxes, and on. Rinse and repeat for months, years, and decades. I call this the matrix, is what I call it. But it can be broken down, as I mentioned, and explained scientifically through quantum physics. Most people, as I mentioned, they think life is random, but it's not. We're creating it. The first law is the law of mentalism. Everything begins in your mind. Mentalism. Everything begins in your mind. Your reality, it's not happening to you, it's happening through you. If your thoughts stay unconscious, your life pretty much stays on autopilot. Especially in the wintertime, at this time of the year when it's dark when you wake up. You go to work, it's dark. You come home, it's dark. I call that dark to dark. So awareness is the first escape hatch from the matrix. The second law is the law of correspondence. It says, as within, so it is without. As it is above, so it is below. Your outer world, it mirrors your inner beliefs. So if chaos, lack of frustration keeps showing up, it's not bad luck, it's alignment. We have to change our inner world, and the outer world must follow. And back to this matrix idea, here we are, we're inundated 24/7 with bad news, negative news, all the things that are all going wrong. So it's part of the programming. This is where we get stuck, because now we start vibrating fear. And this fear attracts negative things to us. So I'm going to talk about the law of polarity in a moment. But if there's fear, what's on the other side of fear is, or the opposite of fear is optimism and goodness. So that's the opposite of fear. But I'll get to that in a moment. The third one I want to talk about is the law of vibration. And I alluded to it when I talked about quantum physics, but it basically says that nothing is still. Everything moves. Everything is in motion. Emotion is energy in motion. Energy in motion. Everything moves. Your thoughts, your emotions, your habits, everything emits a frequency. So you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So part of the task at hand is to raise your vibration, and your results rise with it. One of my mentors, Jim Rohn, he always says, work hard on your job and you can make a living, but work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. And he's talking about raising your vibration. Number 4, law of polarity. Everything has two sides. I just alluded to this, but there's failure and success, there's fear and faith, there's lack and abundance. They're not opposites, they're part of the same thing at different degrees. So everything has an opposite. I look at it like a sliding scale on a TV set. For contrast, for instance, when it goes from dark to light, you slide the bar and it's dark, completely dark on one end. You slide it all the way to the other end, it's completely light. It's all part of the same thing. It's not separate things. Mastery of this idea is learning how to shift the dial. When things are not going right, just understand that, hey, things can get better for you. Things can go right. Law of rhythm. That's the 5th law. Life moves in cycles. There's ups, there's downs. Most people quit in a down cycle because they think something's wrong. Nothing's wrong. This is just how growth works. Right now, we're in the winter solstice. It's a rhythm. Things get dark, things get light. And within how nature and how the earth works. Things get cold, things get warm. It's a cycle, it's a rhythm. So we have to learn how to work with these laws, the law of rhythm. Number 6, law of cause and effect. Nothing happens by accident. Every result has a cause, and most people are effects, not causes. Most people react instead of creating. So conscious people become the causes. Unconscious people stay reactive. Somebody cut you off in traffic, your natural instinct, and I think we've all done it before, is to react in a negative way. But suppose you just didn't react at all. You just let it go. Your vibration will stay high. Law number 7, the law of gender. Creation requires balance. When I first heard of this law of gender, they're talking about feminine and masculine. I thought it was male and female, but it's not about male and female. It's about the energy. Masculine energy initiates, feminine energy nurtures. So the masculine energy is this go, grind kind of thing. Do. The feminine energy is this planning, this nurturing, this love, this thinking, this writing. This is feminine energy, but we have to learn how to blend both of them together and we align ourselves. Alignment, it beats hustle like every time. So, as I mentioned in closing, these laws are not theory, they're principles. And once you understand them, you can stop surviving and start creating your life. So that's what this is all about. So if what I'm saying is making sense, just like this and share this. And in closing, peace, one love, and control your destiny.